hit by a hurricane.
Our sets that had been built by our art department were completely destroyed and were never seen again. And they were just blown away.
Dinosaurs crashing.
Like the T-Rex, which wasn't supposed to get wet, it took on a lot of water.
And Spielberg's CGI gamble.
I've never seen movements this smooth outside of looking at National Geographic documentaries.
While juggling 2 films.
I said, I gotta jump ship. I gotta make Schindler's List.
Even rewriting scripts while shooting. Jurassic Park shouldn't exist.
You know the accent you were talking about? I said, yeah, I'd been working on it for 4 weeks or something. He said, don't worry about it.
By 1992, Spielberg had made a name for himself, directing Hollywood blockbusters like E.T.
I'll be right here.
Jaws. And Indiana Jones.
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
And Jurassic Park would become another huge milestone in his career.
There's such a reality to it that's why I got really interested in this, because I said, God, science and adventure just come smashing together.
The lead role of Dr. Alan Grant was designed for Harrison Ford, longtime collaborator of Steven Spielberg.
For most films I do quite a bit of research. It's the personalities, it's the behavior of people in that particular slice of life that I'm looking for, that kind of reality.
But he didn't feel this was for him and missed out on the role of a lifetime, which went to Sam Neill and changed cinema forever.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sutcliffe, welcome to Jurassic Park.
It was the first film of its kind in Hollywood to combine CGI with animatronics.
You really want to make it look convincing, you have to animate every nuance, every breath, every muscle wobble.
Spielberg was dedicated to making the dinosaurs look as realistic as possible.
They would have to look for me as real as though I were watching a National Geographic special on television.
Also known as animatronics.
They didn't look real. If you didn't believe their skin, their flesh, their reality, their details, their eyes.
But see, building the robot T-Rex wasn't easy.
The parts are cut out so that they can fit over the structure, the metallic structure that's going to support these pieces. So it's basically like constructing a hull of a ship.
Weighing at 9,000 pounds and 20 feet high, it took the visual effects team 16 weeks just to build the sculpture.
It was just an incredible undertaking, really, when I think back on it, that we actually managed to pull this off.
It took the crew countless hours to sculpt, paint, and stitch the T-Rex together.
I would close my eyes at night and see scale patterns.
The dinosaurs had to be controlled by 20 people at a time.
I don't think anything has ever been attempted before or since that is as ambitious as this first prototype build for a T-Rex.
Each controlling a different body part to make it as realistic as possible.
Stan was kind of conducting us like an orchestra. He was really about smooth movements in your performance. He didn't want any of what he called herky-jerky movements.
This could mean if one person messed up, an entire scene may need to be reshot. But look at the control.
All right.
But Stan Winston's team was serious.
There were only about 62 or 63 digital dinosaur shots in the entire picture. Everything else was Stan Winston.
But Spielberg wanted to push things further.
I wanted to bridge every single technology so the film would simply be, that's a dinosaur.
See, the life-size T-Rex wasn't made for Hawaii's heavy rain and started malfunctioning. Spielberg said it started vibrating so much that it actually freaked out the cast.
As we learned later on, a thicker skin takes on more water, it shrinks more, and it's just heavier.
Between sets, everyone had to slap the rain off the robot or it would fail.
And then like the T-Rex, which wasn't supposed to get wet, it took on a lot of water.
So that quickly turned into a problem. Spielberg wanted every tiny movement of the dinosaurs to feel real.
It's a dinosaur.
You did it. You crazy son of a... You did it.
But the go motion technology that became popular in the 80s was too outdated and just wasn't cutting it for Spielberg. It wasn't until they brought in what was then brand new VFX technology, CGI, that everything finally started coming together.
Then everyone saw the potential. Now you could see a real physical animal.
Spielberg took the gamble of his career and went all in with CGI.
I've never seen movements this smooth outside of looking at National Geographic documentaries.
But the studio started getting worried about rising costs, so Spielberg had to limit how much CGI shots they used in the film.
We were going to break some new ground, but it was going to be costly new ground.
Spielberg was eating into his $63 million budget day by day, so to keep costs down, he was forced to only use a total of 63 visual effects shots. And Spielberg, being who he is, wanted everything perfect, even down to the last line.
Where Steven was at the time was to realize that that couldn't be the end of that story.
And he would often rewrite the script during filming.
You even feel now sympathy for the T-Rex and being brought down by the hunter and the way it's caged and all that kind of stuff.
One of those changes were for iconic actor Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm.
There's one thing the history of evolution has taught us. It's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free.
So initially, Malcolm is meant to get eaten while being chased by the dinosaur, but Goldblum and Spielberg had this idea.
But maybe my character is has a little bit of gumption and self-sacrificing heroism in him, and gets that flare, lights it, and purposely distracts the dinosaur.
And that was a smart move.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
Spielberg didn't want the dinosaurs to be seen as cruel monsters, but simply as what they were, animals.
You realize it's all for this amusement park, which actually might have been cool, but it seems corrupt.
Even Sam Neill, who played Dr. Grant, felt away when Spielberg asked him to drop an accent.
4 days later, he came up to me and said, "You know that voice you're using now?" I said, "Yeah, my voice." He said, "Somewhere in between."
But after all that, things weren't exactly smooth.
It was an adventure film that became an adventure in itself.
While shooting Jurassic Park in Hawaii, production was forced to shut down.
200-mile-an-hour winds battered the beachfront community, causing a church steeple to come crashing down.
Only a day left before wrapping up.
We were watching as the waves would get bigger and bigger, and pretty soon they were pretty huge.
Hurricane Nikki hit the island hard.
The Weather Service office in Honolulu forecasts that the eye of Iniki will pass just east of Kauai,
forcing the cast and crew to find shelter in the hotel's ballroom.
The building shook, and there was no question that you were in the middle of something really, really major.
Sounds scary, right?
The sounds are horrific. It's literally like 12 freight trains barreling down on you.
But the cast and the crew found comfort in each other, says Sam.
We were a lot closer as a result of that, that we'd all been through something, we'd experienced something together.
And Spielberg went full dad mode, keeping the kids distracted from the chaos. But when it was all over, they couldn't believe their eyes. The film sets were completely destroyed by the storm, causing more than $3 billion worth of damages, according to Sam.
Our sets that had been built by our art department were completely destroyed and were never seen again. They were just blown away.
But did that stop Spielberg? Of course not.
A film crew is the most resourceful bunch of people because we have, all trades are involved. We can build it, we can blow it up, we can build it again.
And 2 weeks after the hurricane, they were back on the island to finish filming.
Right, in a bit more, toward the window.
With the film even featuring actual shots from the hurricane.
There's nothing I can do.
But the drama didn't stop there.
I said, I gotta jump ship. I gotta make Schindler's List.
Spielberg still had his hands full juggling 2 films at once.
It's Hebrew from the Talmud. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
Because that same year, he was filming Schindler's List on the other side of the world in Poland.
We went to all the actual sites of the Holocaust there, but I was immediately making Jurassic Park.
How did he do it? Well, he says this.
I had edited the whole film, and all that was left was mixing and color correction and sound effects editing.
He left his producer Kathleen Kennedy to take over production, with also a little help from Star Wars director and good friend George Lucas. But maybe in the end, all the drama and the stress was worth it for Spielberg. This is KNGDM Entertainment. Follow for more.